All right, with the House of Representatives expected to consider and vote on a bundle of foreign aid and national security bills this Saturday, there's you got the three bills dealing with Israel, Ukraine, and the Indo-Pacific. There's also a fourth bill that has kind of about 15 different bills, and included in that is a bill dealing with the social media platform TikTok. And this is one of it's been pretty controversial on Capitol Hill, but in response, diplomats from the Chinese embassy have been secretly lobbying Capitol Hill staff from in both chambers of Congress in recent days, all while downplaying the national security concerns coming from the platform. Should we be surprised by this? I think, well, let me go to my expert here. Join me now to discuss this, Peter Schweizer. He's the president of the Government Accountability Institute and the author of Blood Money, Why the Powerful Turn a Blind Eye While China Kills American, and Red-Handed, How American Elites Get Rich Helping China Win. He joins us by phone. Peter, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Great to be with you, Tony. Thanks so much for having me.
So, any surprise that Chinese officials would be lobbying on behalf of TikTok?
No, there really isn't. And I think what people need to understand is that it's not just that TikTok, its parent company, ByteDance, is a Chinese company. It's a uniquely connected to the Chinese state company. The algorithm, for example, that drives TikTok and makes it so addictive and so capable of predicting what the audience wants to see, that's not only a company secret for ByteDance. The Chinese government has actually declared it a state secret. So this is not an ordinary company. This is a company, ByteDance, again, the parent company of TikTok, that does a lot of joint research with the Chinese Ministry of State Security. So the fact that the Chinese government is taking such a keen interest in the fate of this company is reflective of the fact that it is essentially an extension of the Chinese government itself.
So ByteDance, how beholden is this company to the Chinese Communist Party?
Completely. And look, there have been some people that are opposed to this bill banning TikTok or forcing the sale. I respect certainly that opinion. I don't share it. But there, I think, has been a little bit of a misnomer. Some people have said, for example, that there are American and other non-Chinese investors in ByteDance. And there are some American investors, but what really is not being acknowledged is that the actual controlling shares, the people that vote to decide what ByteDance is going to do or not going to do, are all Chinese. And that, in fact, the American investors who have put money into ByteDance, their actual shareholders, according to Fortune magazine, they signed an agreement when they invested in the company that if they disparage or criticize the company publicly, their shares can actually be taken away from them without compensation. So this is a Chinese company, even though there are American investors, and it is beholden to the CCP. There's a 2017 law that was passed under President Xi that says all companies in China, if asked by the Ministry of State Security to perform certain functions, that can be sharing data, that can be spreading propaganda, et cetera, are obligated to do so under the full penalty of law. So there's just no question that ByteDance is already performing valuable services for the Chinese government, and Chinese officials have acknowledged that. I quote them actually in Blood Money describing on how they are helping the Chinese state already.
Okay, so we've established the connection there, that they're this close relationship. They're benefiting, the Chinese Communist Party benefiting from TikTok, ByteDance. What are they gaining from them? What is flowing to the Chinese Communist Party?
Well, flowing to the Chinese Communist Party is a massive amount of data. And that could be, 15-year-olds, anybody that's using the app. There's a lot of detailed information they're obtaining. And look, somebody who's 15 years old right now might not worry about it. That 15-year-old might become an Air Force pilot, may becoming an FBI agent. China has that information and will have all sorts of information on them. But the second thing that's flowing from ByteDance to consumers in the United States is propaganda. And that's not me speculating here. That's actually Chinese officials that I quote in the book as describing what a powerful platform it is to spread CCP propaganda. And it's not simplistic propaganda. It's not, placards of Chairman Mao marching through Tiananmen Square. It's highly sophisticated, and they describe in detail how TikTok is the ultimate Trojan horse for advancing CCP values in the West, and how they use emotion because this video, short-form video platform can elicit really intense emotions from young people, that it makes young people very susceptible to propaganda, and that they use that manipulation to their advantage. So they get data, and our young people get propaganda that is highly sophisticated and, I would argue, very effective.
But there's a long-term strategy here too. China is playing the long game. I mean, this is a 100-year marathon, as it's been described, and so this is to desensitize and potentially set up the next generation to allow China as they seek to be the global leader.
Yes, exactly. In two ways. One is the pushing of what they call CCP values. But the second is what they call, again, it's not my term, what they call cognitive warfare. And that's their desire to, frankly, encourage the dumbing down of America, the limitation of intellectual capabilities of young people. So if you look at what TikTok does in the United States, you get a lot of sort of, silly videos, a lot of people screaming into the camera, a lot of pranks. China does not have TikTok, but they have the equivalent version, which is also produced by ByteDance. It's called Douyin. Douyin is not silly videos. It's not people with blue hair screaming on camera. It's actually things like science, history, culture. So while our young people from this parent company, ByteDance, through TikTok are getting cotton candy, Chinese young people, their equivalents, are getting spinach. And that is quite by design.
Yeah.
That, along with the propaganda, is part of this cognitive warfare, as they describe it.
Well, Peter, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I'm going to get you to come back on because we want to talk more about this. Peter Schweizer, thanks so much for joining us.